Leviticus 5. 1. And when someone sins, hearing a voice of blasphemy, of which he is a witness, either because he saw it or because he knew it, if he does not report it, then he will bear his iniquity. 2. Or when a person touches anything unclean, whether it be the dead body of an unclean beast, or the dead body of an unclean animal, or the dead body of an unclean reptile, even if he does not know it, yet he is unclean and guilty. 3. Or, when he touches the filth of a man, whatever is filth, with which he makes himself filthy, and it is hidden from him, and he finds out afterward, he will be guilty. 4. Or, when someone swears, recklessly pronouncing with his lips, to do evil, or to do good, in whatever a man rashly pronounces with an oath, and it is hidden from him, and he later learns, he will be guilty of one of these things. 5. It will be, then, that, being guilty in one of these things, he will confess what he has sinned. 6. And he shall bring his atonement to the Lord for his sin which he hath committed, a female lamb, or a young goat for sin, so the priest will make atonement for her sin. 7. But if in his hand there is no resource for small cattle, then he shall bring, to atonement for the guilt that he has committed, to the Lord, 2 turtle doves or 2 young pigeons, one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering. 8. And he shall bring them to the priest, who shall first offer that which is for the atonement of sin, and with his nail he will crack his head at the neck, but he will not break it. 9. And he shall sprinkle some of the blood of the sin offering on the wall of the altar, but what remains of that blood shall be wrung out at the base of the altar. Atonement for sin is. 10. And of the other shall he make a burnt offering according to the custom, so the priest will make atonement for her sin that she has committed, and it will be forgiven her. 11. However, if in his hand there is no resource for 2 turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons, then he who has sinned shall bring as an offering the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour, for atonement of sin. He shall not pour oil on it, nor put incense on it, for it is a sin offering. 12. And he shall bring it to the priest, and the priest of it shall take his handful of it for its memorial, and shall burn it upon the altar, upon the offerings made by fire of the Lord. Atonement for sin is. 13. So the priest will make atonement for her sin, which she has committed in one of these things, and it will be forgiven her, and the rest shall be the priest's, like the food offering. 14. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying. 15. When any person commits a transgression, and sins ignorantly in the holy things of the Lord, then shall he bring to the Lord for atonement, a ram without blemish out of the flock, according to thy estimation in shekels of silver, according to the shekel of the sanctuary, for a trespass offering. 16. Thus shall he restore what he has sinned in holy things, and shall add the 5th part to it, and shall give it to the priest, so the priest shall make atonement for him with the ram of atonement, and his sin shall be forgiven. 17. And if anyone sins, and does, against any of the commandments of the Lord, that which should not be done, even if he does not know it, yet he will be guilty, and will bear his iniquity. 18. And he shall bring to the priest a ram without blemish from the flock, according to your estimation, for a trespass offering, and the priest will make atonement for it for the error that he committed without knowing it, and he will be forgiven. 19. Guilt atonement is, surely he pleaded guilty before the Lord. Leviticus 6. 1. The Lord spoke more to Moses, saying. 2. When a person sins, and transgresses against the Lord, and denies his neighbor what he gave him in safekeeping, or what he left in his hand, or the robbery, or what he violently withheld from his neighbor. 3. Or that he has found what was lost, and denies it with a false oath, or does some other thing out of which man is wont to sin. 4. Will it be, then, that since he has sinned and become guilty, will he restore what he stole, or what he violently withheld, or the deposit given him in safekeeping, or what he found lost? 5. Or all that about which he swore falsely, and he shall restore it in full, and shall add a 5th to it, to him whose it is he shall give it on the day of his atonement. 6. And his atonement shall he bring to the Lord, a ram without blemish out of the flock, according to thy estimation, for a trespass offering to the priest. 7. And the priest will make atonement for her before the Lord, and she will be forgiven of any of the things that he has done, making her guilty. 8. The Lord spoke further to Moses, saying. 9. He commands Aaron and his sons, saying, This is the law of the burnt offering. The burnt offering shall be burned on the altar all night until morning, and the fire of the altar shall burn in it. 10. And the priest shall put on his linen garment, and he shall put his linen breeches upon his flesh, and he shall lift up the ashes, when the fire has consumed the burnt offering on the altar, and shall put it beside the altar. 11. Afterwards he shall take off his garments, and put on other garments, and he will carry away the ashes outside the camp to a clean place. 12. The fire that is on the altar shall burn in it, it shall not be quenched, but the priest shall light wood on it each morning, and shall arrange the burnt offering upon it, and shall burn the fat of the peace offerings upon it. 13. The fire shall continually burn on the altar, it won't go off. 14. And this is the law of the food offering, the sons of Aaron shall offer it before the Lord before the altar. 15. And he shall take from it a handful of the fine flour, the offering and its oil, and all the incense that is on the food offering, then he shall light it on the altar, it is a sweet smell, because it is a memorial to the Lord. 16. And the rest of it shall eat Aaron and his sons. Unleavened bread shall be eaten in the holy place, in the court of the tent of meeting shall they eat it. 17. Leaven will not cook, their portion I have given them of my burnt offerings, it is most holy, like the sin offering and the trespass offering. 18. Every male among the sons of Aaron shall eat of it, it shall be an everlasting statute for your generations of the Lord's offerings made by fire, everyone who touches them will be holy. 19. The Lord spoke further to Moses, saying. 20. This is the offering of Aaron and his sons, which they shall offer to the Lord on the day he is anointed, the 10th part of an ephah of fine flour for the continual food offering, half of it in the morning, and the other half in the afternoon. 21. In a casserole it will be made with oil, boiled thou shalt bring it, and the boiled pieces of the offering you shall offer as a sweet aroma to the Lord. 22. The priest who is anointed in his place from among his sons shall do the same, it shall be all burnt to the Lord for an everlasting statute. 23. Thus all the priest's offering shall be burned up, it will not be eaten. 24. The Lord spoke further to Moses, saying. 25. Speak to Aaron and to his sons, saying, This is the law of atonement for sin, in the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered, the sin offering will be slaughtered before the Lord, most holy thing it is. 26. The priest who offers it for sin shall eat it, it shall be eaten in the holy place, in the court of the tent of meeting. 27. Anything that touches the flesh of the offering will be holy, if its blood is sprinkled on anyone's garments, you shall wash it on which it fell in a holy place. 28. And the earthen vessel in which it is cooked shall be broken, but if it is boiled in a copper vessel, it must be rubbed and washed in water. 29. Every male among the priests shall eat it, most holy thing it is. 30. But no sin offering, the blood of which is brought into the tent of meeting, to make atonement in the sanctuary, shall be eaten, in the fire it shall be burned. Leviticus 7. 1. And this is the law of the expiation of trespass, most holy thing it is. 2. In the place where they slaughter the burnt offering, they shall slaughter the trespass offering, and its blood shall be sprinkled round about on the altar. 3. And all her fat shall be offered from her, the tail, and the fat that covers the entrails. 4. Also the 2 kidneys, and the fat that is in them, which is on the loins, and the caul on the liver, with the kidneys shall be removed. 5. And the priest shall burn them on the altar as an offering made by fire to the Lord, guilt expiation is. 6. Every male among the priests shall eat it, in the holy place it shall be eaten, most holy thing it is. 7. As the atonement for sin, so is the atonement for trespass. There will be the same law for them. It shall belong to the priest who made propitiation for her. 8. Also the priest who offers someone's burnt offering shall have the skin of the burnt offering for himself. 9. And every offering that is baked in the oven, with everything that is prepared in the frying pan and in the pan, will belong to the priest who offers it. 10. And every offering mixed with oil, or dried, shall be for all the sons of Aaron, for one as for another. 11. And this is the law of peace offerings, which shall be offered to the Lord. 12. If he offers it for a thanksgiving offering, with the thanksgiving sacrifice he shall offer unleavened cakes mixed with oil, and unleavened concordance mixed with oil, and the cakes mixed with oil shall be fried, of fine flour. 13. With the cakes he shall offer leavened bread for his offering, with the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offering. 14. And of all the offering he shall offer a portion for a heave offering to the Lord, which shall be for the priest who sprinkles the blood of the peace offering. 15. But the flesh of the sacrifice of thanksgiving of his peace offering shall be eaten on the day of his offering, nothing will be left of her until the morning. 16. And if the sacrifice of his offering is vow, or freewill offering, on the day he offers his sacrifice it shall be eaten, and what remains of it shall also be eaten the next day. 17. And what remains of the flesh of the sacrifice on the third day shall be burned with fire. 18. For if the flesh of his peace offering is eaten on the third day, he who offered it shall not be accepted, nor shall it be imputed to him, it shall be an abominable thing, and the person who eats of it shall bear his iniquity. 19. And flesh that touches anything unclean shall not be eaten, with fire it shall be burned, but of other flesh, whatever is clean, he shall eat of it. 20. But if anyone eats the flesh of the sacrifice of peace offerings, which is the Lord's, while his uncleanness is upon him, that person shall be cut off from among his people. 21. And if a person touches anything unclean, such as the uncleanness of man, or unclean cattle, or any unclean abomination, and eats the flesh of the peace offering, which is the Lord's, that person shall be cut off from his people. 22. Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying. 23. He speaks to the children of Israel, saying, You shall not eat the fat of an ox, or of a ram, or of a goat. 24. But the fat of a dead body, and the fat of one torn by wild beasts, may be used for every work, but you shall by no means eat it. 25. For whoever eats the fat of the animal, of which an offering made by fire is offered to the Lord, the person who eats it shall be cut off from his people. 26. And you shall not eat any blood in any of your dwellings, whether of fowl or of cattle. 27. Whoever eats any blood, that person will be cut off from his people. 28. The Lord spoke further to Moses, saying. 29. Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Whoever offers his peace offering to the Lord shall bring his offering to the Lord as peace offering. 30. Their own hands shall bring the offerings made by fire to the Lord, the fat of the breast with the breast shall bring to wave it for a wave offering before the Lord. 31. And the priest shall burn the fat on the altar, but the breast shall be for Aaron and his sons. 32. Also the right shoulder you shall give to the priest for a heave offering of your peace sacrifices. 33. He of the sons of Aaron who offers the blood of the peace offering and the fat, he shall have the right shoulder for his portion. 34. For the waved breast and the raised shoulder I took from the children of Israel of their peace offerings, and gave them to Aaron the priest and to his sons, for a perpetual ordinance of the children of Israel. 35. This is Aaron's portion and the portion of his sons from the Lord's offerings made by fire, from the day he presented them to minister in the priest's office to the Lord. 36. What the Lord commanded to be given them from among the children of Israel in the day that he anointed them, perpetual statute is for their generations. 37. This is the law of the burnt offering, the meat offering, and the sin offering, and the trespass offering, and the consecration offering, and the peace offering. 38. Which the Lord commanded Moses on Mount Sinai, on the day when he commanded the children of Israel to offer their offerings to the Lord in the wilderness of Sinai. Leviticus 8. 1. The Lord spoke more to Moses, saying, 2. Take Aaron and his sons with him, and the garments, and the anointing oil, and the bullock for the sin offering, and the 2 rams, and the basket of unleavened bread. 3. And assemble all the congregation at the door of the tent of meeting. 4. So Moses did as the Lord commanded him, and the congregation assembled at the door of the tent of meeting. 5. Then Moses said to the congregation, This is what the Lord commanded to be done. 6. And Moses brought Aaron and his sons near, and washed them with water. 7. And he put the tunic on him, and girded him with the sash, and put the mantle on him. He also put the ephod on him, and girded him with the intricately wrought girdle of the ephod, and bound him with it. 8. Then he put on the breastplate, putting the Urim and the Thummim on the breastplate. 9. And he put the mitre on his head, and upon this, in the front part, he placed the golden plate, the crown of holiness, as the Lord had commanded Moses. 10. Then Moses took the anointing oil, and anointed the tabernacle and all that was in it, and sanctified it. 11. And he sprinkled some of it on the altar 7 times, and anointed the altar and all its utensils, and the laver and its stand, to sanctify them. 12. Then he poured some of the anointing oil on Aaron's head, and anointed him, to sanctify him. 13. Moses also brought the sons of Aaron near, and put tunics on them, and girded them with a girdle, and tightened headbands on them, as the Lord had commanded Moses. 14. Then he brought the bullock of the sin offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the head of the bull of the sin offering. 15. And he beheaded him, and Moses took the blood, and put it with his finger upon the horns of the altar round about, and cleansed the altar. Then he poured out the rest of the blood at the base of the altar, and sanctified it, to make atonement for it. 16. Then he took all the fat that was in the entrails, and the caul of the liver, and the 2 kidneys and their fat, and Moses burned them on the altar. 17. But the bull, with its hide, and its flesh, and its dung, he burned with fire outside the camp, as the Lord commanded Moses. 18. Then he brought the ram of the burnt offering, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the ram's head. 19. And he beheaded him, and Moses sprinkled the blood round about on the altar. 20. He also cut the ram into pieces, and Moses burned the head, and the pieces, and the fat. 21. However, the entrails and the legs washed with water, and Moses burned the whole ram on the altar, a burnt offering of a sweet aroma, an offering made by fire to the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. 22. Then he brought the other ram, the ram of consecration, and Aaron and his sons laid their hands on the ram's head. 23. And beheaded him, and Moses took some of its blood, and put it on the lobe of Aaron's right ear, and on the thumb of his right hand, and on the big toe of his right foot. 24. Moses also brought the sons of Aaron near, and put some of the blood on the lobe of their right ear, and on the thumb of their right hand, and on the big toe of their right foot, and Moses sprinkled the rest of the blood on the altar round about. 25. And he took the fat, and the tail, and all the fat that is in the inwards, and the caul of the liver, and the 2 kidneys, and their fat, and the right shoulder. 26. Also out of the basket of unleavened bread, which was before the Lord, he took an unleavened cake, and a cake of oiled bread, and a wadding, and put them on the fat and on the right shoulder. 27. And he put all this in the hands of Aaron and in the hands of his sons, and he offered them for a wave offering before the Lord. 28. Then Moses took them from their hands, and burned them on the altar with the burnt offering. These were a consecration, for a sweet smell, an offering made by fire to the Lord. 29. And Moses took the breast, and offered it for a wave offering before the Lord. That was Moses' portion of the ram of consecration, as the Lord had commanded Moses. 30. Moses also took some of the anointing oil and the blood that was on the altar, and sprinkled it on Aaron and on his garments, and on his sons, and on the garments of his sons with him. And and sanctified Aaron and his garments, and his sons' garments with him. 31. And Moses said to Aaron and to his sons, Cook the meat before the door of the tent of meeting, and you shall eat it there with the bread that is in the basket of consecration, as I commanded you, saying, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. 32. But what remains of the meat and of the bread, you shall burn with fire. 33. Also, you shall not go out from the door of the tent of meeting for 7 days, until the day when the days of your consecration are fulfilled. For 7 days he will consecrate you. 34. As it was done on this day, so the Lord commanded it to be done, to make atonement for you. 35. You shall therefore remain at the door of the tent of meeting day and night 7 days, and you shall keep the ordinances of the Lord, that you may not die, because so I was commanded. 36. And Aaron and his sons did all things that the Lord had commanded by the hand of Moses,